guys, so if you've already clicked on this Desmos activity on your Canvas page, you're now on this screen. So it says represent the speed limit sign on the number line. And it says the speed limit sign is for a highway in South Dakota. This is a real-world example of an and inequality. Your speed must be both greater than or equal to 40 miles per hour and less than or equal to 80 miles per hour. Drag the points in the graph below to represent the inequality. So look, I gotta be greater than 40, or hold on. I have to be, greater than 40. So from here on to infinity, right? So 40 and greater. And then I also have to be less than 80. So I'm going to drag this to 80. Now my speed is going to be between 40 and 80. So I could be going 50 miles an hour on the highway or 75 miles an hour on the highway. I could be going 40, I could be going 80, but as long as I'm within that speed, I'm not going to get a ticket, right? I know there's that one highway in Oklahoma where the speed limit's 80, so. Okay, so that one's pretty easy. And then on this one, we're just going to go ahead and check our work. So it's showing me the inequality from the last slide. My inequality matches, so I know I got it right. And then I would graph that by saying x is greater than or equal to 40, but less than or equal to 80. Okay, so that's how I would do that. All right, now here, I'm going to have an example of an or inequality. So to identify when water is not a liquid, it must be less than or equal to 0 degrees. So I have 0 degrees here, and then all the numbers that are less than that, like negative 10, negative 11, that's when my water would be frozen, so it'd be a solid. Or greater than or equal to 100 degrees Celsius, so I'm going to slide this over to 100. Then my liquid would be a gas. So what I'm showing is when water is not a liquid. So everywhere where it's not blue, it's a liquid, but over here, it's going to be a solid, and over here, it's going to be a gas. But I need to change that to 100, and it's currently on 101. All right, perfect. All right, so now I need to go ahead and I need to type these in here. So here's my first inequality, and I wrote x is less than 0, and I got it wrong. So I want to change that to x is less than or equal to. So I'm going to go like that. And then it says x is greater than or equal to 100. So that's how I'm going to type that in. And then I'll hit submit. And it says, whoo, way to go. And I can see that my inequality and the correct answer match. All right, now on this one, you guys have a video to watch. It's 3 minutes long. Go ahead and watch that video. I'll have you some questions to ask about that. All right, now let's look at this one. All right, guys, now on this slide, there's a mistake right here. It should say negative 3x, and then this one should be negative 52. So let's go ahead and look at the inequality the way that's supposed to be written. So we have 2x plus 1 is less than 9, or negative 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to negative 52. That's how they should have written it on the Desmos activity. All right, so the way that we would solve is I would break this up into two inequalities. Remember, it's an or inequality. So my first inequality, I'm going to solve for x by subtracting 1 on both sides, and you can pause or play as you need to. Then I get 2x is less than 8. Now I'm trying to solve for x, but the 2's in the way, so I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides, and I get x is less than 4. Okay? And then I have my second part of this compound inequality, or negative 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to negative 52. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for x by adding 4 to both sides. Okay, and when I do that, I'll have negative 3x left because the negative 4 and the positive 4 cancel out. And then I'll have negative 52 plus 4. So negative 52 plus 4 is going to be negative 48. So I'll have less than or equal to negative 48. And then I need to go ahead and solve for x, and the way that I'm going to do that is divide both sides by negative 3. But when I do that, my inequality symbol is going to flip. So negative 3 divided by negative 3, that equals 1. So this is like 1x, but I could just call it x. And then negative 48 divided by negative 3 is going to equal positive 16. So now x is less than 4, or x is greater than or equal to 16. All right, so on here, this first one right here is going to be x is less than 4. And you see it auto-graded it. And then on this next one, we have x is greater than or equal to 16. And now it just wants us to graph these. Okay, so let's talk about how we would graph them. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw a number line, and let me give myself a little bit of room down here. All right, so now that I have my graph drawn, the first one I have is going to be x is less than 4, but x is not equal to 4, so I'm going to have an open circle at 4, and then x is all the numbers that are less than 4, so my graph's going to go to the left, because 2 is less than 4, 0 is less than 4, and then I have x is greater than or equal to 16, so or x is greater than or equal to 16. So I'm going to change the pen color. So x is equal to 16, so I'm going to have a closed circle at 16. And then x is greater than 16, so I'm going to draw my line going that way. All right, so you can see all the numbers less than 4 but not equal to 4 could be a solution to this compound inequality. And then all the numbers that are greater than or equal to 16 could be a solution. So this is how I would graph that. So right here on the next slide, oh, go back one. We need to go ahead and graph that. So it's going to be right here. See, there's an open circle at 4, closed circle at 16, and this is my or compound inequality. All right, now here's one that I want you guys to do, and this will be self-graded, and then I want you to graph it. And then this slide will compare the two ways that you can solve an and compound inequality. So let's talk about it really quick. So here, where the first option, they break up the compound inequality into two separate inequalities. And the first thing that they do is they subtract 2 on both sides, and then they get the two inequalities, 10 is less than or equal to 2x, and 2x is greater than or equal to 38. And then notice that for both inequalities, they had to divide by 2 to get the x by itself, and then they ended up getting x is greater than or equal to 5, and x is less than or equal to 19. And in option 2, they did that to everything at once, and they still got the same answer. So you're just going to tell me which option you prefer. All right, now for this one, you're supposed to find the mistake. And I know that a lot of this is still new to you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and write the correct way to solve this, and then I want you guys to find the mistake from that. So if we have negative 4 is less than or equal to negative 10 minus 2x, which is less than 6, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the correct way to solve this, and I like to use option 1. So I'm going to break this up into two separate inequalities. So I have negative 4 is less than or equal to negative 10 minus 2x, and then I have negative 10 minus 2x is less than 6. And I'll draw a line with a different color to keep it organized. So I'm going to go ahead and solve for x with both inequalities. And the first thing I'm going to do is add 10 to both sides, because I'm trying to get x by itself. So 10 minus 4, that's 6. 10 minus 10, that becomes 0, so it goes away, and I'm left with just the negative 2x. All right. Now I'm trying to solve for the x, but x is being multiplied by negative 2, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. 6 divided by negative 2 is going to be negative 3. So negative 3 is going to be greater than or equal to, I'm divided by a negative, so I have to flip the inequality sign. So negative 3 is going to be greater than or equal to x. And I could also write it the other way, where the variable's first, but I'm going to keep it like this for now. You guys will see why in a minute. All right, now I'm going to solve this other inequality, and surprisingly, I should be solving it the same way that I solved the first one. I would start by adding 10 to both sides. Only now I get negative 2x is less than 16. And since I'm trying to solve for x, but that negative 2 is in the way, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. So now x is less than negative 8. All right, so since x is less than negative 8, I could say that either x is less than or equal to negative 3, and x is less than negative 8. So on here, I want you guys to go ahead and identify how they, what the mistake was for this compound inequality. Okay, go ahead and see what I did, and then see what they should have done. All right. And then you're going to write that in here and share it with the class. All right, now this last one is a card sort, so it's pretty easy. I'll do one of them for you. So I'll do this first one for you, and then you guys will have to sort the rest. So this first one I'm going to pick is the OR compound inequality, so 2c is less than negative 10, or negative 3c is less than negative 12. And honestly, I like OR compound inequalities more than I like AND compound inequalities. So I guess that's why I picked it. And I'm going to show this on the whiteboard. I'm just writing this on my whiteboard. Okay. So I have 2c is less than negative 10, or negative 3c is less than negative 12. So to solve, I'm going to go ahead and divide by 2. And then I get c is less than negative 5. And then here I'm going to divide by negative 3. And I get, this is OR, c. And then since I divided by a negative, my inequality symbol flips. And then negative 12 divided by negative 3 is positive 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and graph. So I'm going to have an open circle at negative 5. And then it says c is less than negative 5. So that's all the numbers going to the left, because I know negative 6 is less than 5, right? Or c is greater than 4. So I'm going to have an open circle at 4. And then c is greater than 4, and I know 5 is greater than 4, so my line's going to go that way. So that's how I would do this problem. And then on the Desmos activity, I'm looking for a graph that has open circles that's between negative 5 and 4, right, like this. So that's that one. So I'm going to link those two cards. And you guys are just going to go ahead and link these other 3 cards with their correct graph, and then you're done. You guys don't even have to hit submit. It will automatically save your work. I do want you to show your work, though, on a separate piece of paper, just like how I showed my work on the Jamboard. So, and then you're going to turn that into me.